Hello friends, welcome to AI Flux. So Humane is a company that just released one of the first wearable hardware AI devices that appears to actually be real. So the idea is you wear this, it has a camera, it has this cool laser display that can project stuff onto your hand. And the idea is that you can ask it things that it sees, or you can ask it for directions. And it's kind of this new interface with the internet and technology that we haven't seen before. Now, Humane wants you to think that this is like the next iPhone, or it's the next huge upgrade in how we interface with technology. And they'd like you to think that this is the first time this has ever been done. And what's funny is when I saw this today, it kind of jogged my memory, and I had a bit of a Jimmy Neutron style brain blast, and kind of a blast from the past. And I remembered way back in 2016 when I was deciding to take a leave from studying computer science in college, that I had almost worked for a company that was working on something strikingly similar all the way back in 2016. So nearly 7 entire years ago, right? When blockchain stuff was starting to pick up. And I thought you guys would find this kind of interesting. And I think it's a curious foil to the idea that this technology has never been investigated before. So let's get into it. Long story short, I kind of wanted a little bit of a break, and I wanted to go work somewhere real. So I was on the East Coast at the time, and I said, I want to go work for some cool startup in SF for a while, and we'll see how that goes. So I hopped on AngelList, which at the time was kind of the place you would go to find cool startups to work for that were otherwise hard to kind of get in contact with. And I started doom scrolling. And I applied to a few companies, and all of a sudden this company called Asteria popped up. They were looking for someone with around my level of experience, so nothing. They did stuff in Go, and I knew Go, and so I started talking to them. And as it turns out, they were building this device that they were calling the world's first AI companion. And ironically, this is really exactly what Humane is saying. And obviously, none of these links work anymore. I'm on the Wayback Machine, way back in September of 2016. So yeah, so this is what their device looked like. It was this little box and a camera, and I actually went out to meet with them, and this was an actual device. So they had made this. They had a person who had a PhD in kind of machine learning, and they had done some pretty cool stuff. So the team was real, and I just wanted to look at this before we look at the Humane AI Pin, which I still think is kind of cool technology. So they say here, Asteria is your artificial intelligent companion that you carry with you. It sees what you see, it hears what you hear, takes in life as you do, and gets smarter all along the way. Asteria connects the dots between your physical and digital life. So here's how they wanted you to use it. Asteria awakens with a simple touch, exactly how the Humane AI Pin does, and waits for your voice commands. Ask about your schedule, order a taxi, make an appointment, learn more about a topic, translate a language, or anything else you want. Asteria is here to help. For more powerful controls, you can tap into a community of device and service recipes and bots built for you to control your connected world through voice domains. So they had some other kind of cool stuff they had built out that was kind of an SDK. They sold about 300 of these devices, one of which I was actually able to see in person. And yeah, so the voice domains were kind of what they were doing. So they're really only focused on voice. I still know some of the members of this team pretty well. They actually were really involved with Make Magazine earlier in the day. So if you're kind of a later in the generation millennial like me, and you grew up reading Make Magazine, these are pretty cool people. But obviously this never really came to fruition. And there are questions as to why this had happened. And I think at the time it was just a little too early. Ironically, more of the basis for this technology was actually licensing and monetizing the training data they would produce. And that later turned into something called Synapse Network. And I'm not actually sure if it ended up being anything. I think the SYN token is actually an entirely different network now. So like many things in 2016, it kind of devolved into a crypto project and then basically never saw the light of day. But I was actually at this presentation here. Dan's a great guy. And I think it's funny that, obviously this was something people were kind of thinking about all the way back in 2016. Now, do I think these kinds of devices are novel or really anything that is that much more useful than your phone for now? For now, no, I don't really think so. There are reasons people don't use Siri in public because you just look like kind of a doofus. I think it's still easy for most people to just Google or, search something up real quick. Or just use the ChatGPT app. But Humane thinks differently. So now I'm going to go into a few things that I thought were kind of cool, and I'll show you the actual Humane device, which granted looks way cooler than the Asteria device. The other hilarious thing with Asteria was their chain network. The name for the token was Stardust. It's funny to look back and think that I almost worked for a SF startup working on an AI companion where you get paid in Stardust for providing data to their network. So this is the Humane device. They launched it today. I think it's pretty cool.
Welcome to Humane.
This is the Humane AI Pin. It's a standalone device and software platform built from the ground up for AI. It comes in 3 colorways, got Eclipse, Lunar, and Equinox. There's 2 pieces.
And ironically, those could all be different names of fancy gyms in New York, but the naming, is pretty cool. The size is interesting.
A computer
it's actually not that much
and a battery
smaller
booster.
than the system
And the
we
battery
had.
booster powers.
And the funny thing with this battery booster concept is, to me at least, it's exactly what Fitbit did. So, is it super new? Not really, but
A smaller battery
cool.
inside the main computer. And this is how we achieve our all-day battery life.
So if you ever exhaust the booster, you just reach into your pocket or bag and hot swap it. This is a perpetual power system that allows you to use your AI pin for as long as you want.
There are no wake words, so it's not always listening or always recording. In fact, it doesn't do anything until you engage with it. And your engagement comes through your voice, touch, gesture, or the laser ink display.
Now, my first point here is this feels strikingly like a police body cam, except it has this cool laser display, and in theory it knows what your voice sounds like. But for me, even as someone who really likes a lot of this technology, the idea of having this thing strapped to myself all day isn't a super exciting proposition.
It also comes with its own connectivity built right in, our own Humane network, connected by T-Mobile.
We were able to pack a lot of technology into something really small. It runs a Qualcomm Snapdragon chipset, and that means it's really fast, which is crucial for AI.
It's got an ultra-wide RGB camera, depth sensor.
And Asteria also had kind of this big camera and a really nice mic. The coolest thing we did at Asteria, or that the Asteria team had done, was they'd figured out one of the first kind of intelligently directional mics. So there were actually 8 mics in the device, and it could directionally tell who was talking at it or in front of it or behind it, which I thought was kind of cool.
Sensor and motion sensors.
And it's got this really special speaker that creates this bubble of sound. It can be really intimate, or it can be really loud.
And I can imagine it will be very soon, if this thing catches on, that there will be a lot of people sitting in a subway car blasting music with this thing. And I can't wait for that future. But anyway, let's keep watching.
It has an indicator that we call the Trust Light that is built directly into the AI Pin's hardware via a dedicated privacy chip.
The Trust Light indicates when its input, optical, or audio sensors are active, ensuring full transparency and data security.
And the irony of this is, again, you can cover this up with like a paint pen. And the other thing is, this is also an integral feature on police body cams. So at this point, honestly, I'd be way more open to just getting a Bluetooth-enabled Axon body cam from like a surplus police auction. And I think you'd save a lot of time. Also, it would be way more rugged. That's another thing worth thinking about. But this thing, to be fair, it does look pretty cool.
The AI Pin privacy chip also protects it from being exploited, which means if it's ever physically tampered with, it will require service from Humane to restore operation.
The AI Pin comes with a beacon that lets you know when it has something for you, like messages from trusted contacts or services like cars or food as they come available online in the future.
We don't do apps. Humane's OS runs AI experiences that are on device and in the cloud. The OS understands what you need and picks the right AI in the moment.
What this means is that you no longer have to search for, download, or manage apps. These AIs are streamed on demand at the speed of thought. Let's play some music. Play the song How Music Makes You Feel Better from famous sci-fi. If I go to the left, I can go back.
All right, now this is pretty cool. To be frank,
skip.
this is
Let's go
pretty
down.
cool. Now, I can't watch all this because there's music going on, but
Okay. Got my clock.
now for me, the laser screen I can't read any of this, and I'm looking at this at a screen a few feet away. The concept is cool, but again, what, can I not just get my phone out of my pocket?
Weather, the date. If I tilt my hand up, got nearby. It tells me everything that might be around me and where I am at the same time. I can also use it to ask questions like, when is the next eclipse and where is the best place to see it?
This is an AI browsing the web or grabbing knowledge from all over the internet.
The next total solar eclipse will occur on April 8th, 2024. Best places to see it are Exmouth, Australia, and S.D.N.Y.
I can use it for messaging, either by voice or laser. Tell Andrew I'll be there later tonight.
Your message to Andrew says I'll be there later tonight. Okay to send?
Make me sound more excited.
Your message to Andrew says I'll be there later tonight. Can't wait.
So, for me, I would hope people are still literate enough to understand just how to say something that's exciting. But this is pretty cool. And what's curious to me is similar to Asteria, there's a notion of not using this as an interface to a phone, but as using different explicit AIs for different experiences, which makes sense. And it makes sense in that they're streaming and, I do wonder, though, how you would use this in the subway or anywhere where there's not really cell service, which brings into question if any real inference is going on anywhere on here. To me, this feels like a evolution of just a bunch of different companies that have found a clever way to wrap a ChatGPT wrapper around like a really cheap, low-power device with a camera, sometimes without a camera. And I that's my perspective here. But anyway.
Okay to send?
Yes.
One of the things I like most about messaging is getting caught up. My AI summarizes what's important, so I don't have to go back and read every message.
Catch me up.
Yanir asked if you want to get hook fish with Sam this week. Michelle sent some notes about today's design sync.
And look, my other point here is we do have a thing called notifications on devices, right? So unless you're getting 400 text messages in an hour, this is cool, but it still seems like kind of a Samsung Galaxy gimmick kind of a situation. So now they're going to show you can use it as a phone. That's great. They're not calling it a phone, but I guess you can use it like one. And yeah.
Can you help me with this demo?
Be right there.
Thanks.
Casi listos para enviar la versión final.
At Asteria, one of the things they actually had figured out was doing relatively close to real-time translation. Now, obviously, this was just using a few very well-supported languages on Google Translate and some kind of rough internal models they'd been working on. And it was also 2016, so this technology was really pretty limited. But yeah, this is kind of cool. I think phones are still kind of a better interface for this because everyone has one. And of course, the text-to-speech stuff is getting really good, and I think it's a kind of a surprising side benefit of a lot of this technology. But yeah, so
Casi listos para enviar la
it can
versión
talk
final.
back and forth. That's really cool.
The AI can recognize objects, and we're starting with health and nutrition. I've got goals that I've
So they showed it with the camera. I guess it's now going to estimate various sizes and weights of
set up in
things.
my AI that I no longer need to think about.
And we have to wonder, will we have a weight guessing app for people on this device? We have to wonder.
How much protein?
These almonds have 15 grams of protein.
Great. I'm gonna eat it.
Enjoy it.
And later I can ask,
And for me, I just want an AI device that I can say, I want to eat it, and then it's going to empower me to consume those calories, because I know they're pretty popular and they're really good for me.
shop in the real world.
So then they
Hold
start
up an
shopping.
item to learn more about it.
VR and AR shopping has not really worked that well.
And generating a gorgeous image.
And then they show it,
Scene.
again,
And
working
generating.
as a body cam, basically. So just taking pictures and videos of things, which, again, is pretty similar to this app called Reclip that a bunch of Gen Zs on TikTok are getting all hooked on, which to me sounds, again, like kind of an episode of Black Mirror. But anyway.
A while ago that Ken likes sushi. When you purchase called Humane.Center, put a note a while ago that Ken likes sushi. To manage and access all your data, including photos, videos, and notes, Humane
Now, one thing that I kind of think is funny is they provide you a desktop application, but you can't do any of this on your phone. Like a lot of this stuff you can do on your phone from a GoPro or that kind of thing, but it is interesting to me that this is their best way of doing this and using a desktop computer.
provides a central hub called Humane.Center. This platform is designed to simplify your interaction with the AI Pin from setup through daily use. When you purchase the AI Pin, you're asked to onboard with Humane via a privacy-protected portal. By sharing information with the AI Pin up front, you're ensuring that by the time you take your personal AI Pin out of its box, the device knows you and your preferences. Let's take a look at accessories.
And this is really, they just go into cool stuff you can attach to it now. But one thing that I think is striking about this, to me, this kind of just feels like a fitness tracker combined with a body cam, combined with a GoPro and some AI stuff. Like you can talk to a GoPro right now and it'll do what you want. It's pretty cool. I like the interface. But again, I think it falls into similar pitfalls that this device from Asteria was making, which is that it all still feels like kind of a gimmick. I can totally see these getting stolen off people in New York. I think people are still going to look at this and be like, you know, I still feel like kind of a doofus talking to my technology in public in front of other people. And it's cool, it's trendy, but I really don't know if it's going to catch on. And again, hardware is notoriously very, very hard to do, so I commend them on getting this much of it right. But we have yet to see if this application of AI will really make sense for most people. And then looking kind of past this, like what are the biggest takeaways that I have? So do I think it's going to be the new iPhone? Unfortunately, no, I don't really think this is going to be the next iPhone. But there are three big takeaways I think we can really think about. OpenAI and Microsoft will undoubtedly eventually become infrastructure for all technology. It's hard to beat them right now, and they're already quickly becoming the AWS for AI. And with OpenAI's announcements this week, they've killed off a bunch of startups in mere days, and the biggest thing they've sought to replace is the infrastructure layer to interact with these systems. So now it makes no sense, tooling or time-wise, to, for instance, make your own Whisper infrastructure and do any other number of things when it comes to inference or pulling things out. They've made it clear, yeah, like the cheapest and easiest way, if you're still willing to build stuff with OpenAI, is to just use the ChatGPT 4 API. And the second is AI is going to make apps as we know them a lot less important, but not completely replace them. Screenless interfaces powered by AI will be connected to apps on the back end and bundled into a subscription service. So it's kind of an add-on to those experiences. And of course, Humane will offer subscriptions for all sort of things like Tidal, Spotify. It'll be just another way to milk more money out of you every month. And the third is product design. This may be going to look different in 5 to 10 years, but if Humane has showed us everything, it hasn't really changed much at all. The size is pretty much similar to the Asteria device. It's pretty much a camera, a fancy mic, and some LEDs. I think the biggest thing is right now we don't know how we want to interact with these. If the Humane announcement has showed us anything, it's that we still have the same ideas that we thought were revolutionary in 2016 applying to today in 2023 for how we think we're going to interact with AI. And people keep saying text is the most groundbreaking interface here. I still don't think speech is. I think talking back at us with speech is, but otherwise speech is a pretty inefficient and objective way to transmit information to a device, to people, in many ways. So I thought you guys would enjoy kind of my story about almost working for this startup called Asteria. I think it's kind of funny how technology from 2016 to 2023, even with these massive advancements in AI, in terms of hardware, haven't really changed that much. And so please let me know what you think in the comments. Are you going to buy one of these pins? Do you think they're just creepy body cameras meant to monetize people? Let me know what you think. And as always, if you like our content, please like and subscribe, and please share, and we'll see you in the next video.